Today, the Alberta government came out and talked about the forced recovery that they're going to be doing against Indigenous people here in Alberta because they are, tough on crime, because they're conservatives. Anyway, we just wrapped our book club and we talked about the 113 pathways to justice. It's the Alberta government's own damn report on missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and Two-Spirit. So if you've been following me, obviously the amount of money that's going into policing by the government itself, just to monitor Pride, the city of Calgary forcing Calgary Pride to have police, paying for that police. And that's the money the federal government's giving that's not going into services like actually helping, and contributing to the 231 calls to justice, let alone these 113 pathways to justice. So because the Alberta government put out their bullcrap today about forcing Indigenous people to do what they so please with forced policing, I just want to say this goes against everything they have in this report. Everything. So that their first sentences, there's not a single sentence in this report that actually is in alignment with the announcements that happened today. And this came out years ago already. I'm really sad, but I wanted to focus on the addictions and mental health section. So this is a free, open to the public document. You can read page 76 and 77. And you can just see how they failed at every single attempt here. And I'm just going to throw it out here because in Calgary, we have the city council are like, oh my God, we suddenly care about housing now because it's somehow a hot topic, so we care. I'll bet you they haven't read this 113 Pathways to Justice, the very specific recommendations on housing. I know I sent a letter to them at Christmas time that they just went into their junk mail or block bin. So honestly, dear Albertans, please start holding these MLAs and city councilors to account. Like, this is an open to the public document, the 113 Pathways to Justice, and it talks extensively about, bullet points and colonialism and anti-racism training and culturally appropriate services for addiction and mental health. Lots of stuff for policing, corrections. And what are we seeing? Nada. Instead, what we seen was in Edmonton, we recently had a young man who they had to remove part of his skull because an Edmonton police officer kicked in his head. ACERT, which it never says anything positive ever for Indigenous people, said we should probably charge him. And what did the Crown do? Nah. Why do we need to do that for? This is the state of what it's like being an Indigenous person in Alberta. They have their own reports they constantly ignore and gaslight us as Indigenous people. They have the solutions. They've literally had the solutions since 1996, but they just choose to look the other way. So, dear Albertans, it is September. September 30th is Truth and Reconciliation Day. You can wear your orange shirts. Why don't you guys write a letter? Write a letter to your city councilors. Tell them through the Truth and Reconciliation Commission some of the points that matter on housing. Why don't you tell them about the 113 Pathways to Justice from the Alberta government, how they're failing on housing there? There's so much work you can all do. Write these letters. CC me. I want to read them. I want to see you doing the work. Wearing an orange shirt on September 30th matters. But man, if you could just put some pressure on these politicians to do a little more, than just words and just words on a report. Thank you.